to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more.
Someone described Hamlet being a hoop through which every actor must sooner or later jump. You walk on, you can hear the silence thicken as they know what you're about to say, and when you do begin to say it, you hear an entire audience of 1,500 people going, to be or not to be, that is a question. They love it. It's like, if you're going to see Hamlet, you know, that's the thing you come for, amongst others, but I mean, that's it.
Castle Rock Entertainment proudly presents the most celebrated drama in the English language. Seen in glorious 70mm format. Adapted for the screen and directed by Kenneth Branagh. With a distinguished international cast.
I think you have to have a very good reason for doing Hamlet again, and we wanted to do this complete version because it gives the audience the kind of rhythm that Shakespeare himself imposed upon it, that allows you to accept the sex, the violence, the incest, the murder in all their proper proportions. And I think in the full version what you get is a very, very complete entertainment.
To expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste, night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad.
The exciting thing about this project, I think, is that it's the culmination of several years now of working in movies, and I think 7, 8 years ago when we were beginning Henry V, we were already talking about a film version of Hamlet. For the first time, I think, we feel full squarely in the cinema with something which has an epic quality, which seems to be uniquely fitted for all the excitement and power and energy that the cinema can give.
It's a very ambitious project because we're shooting 70mm. That involves longer time for setup, different arrangement of lights, and it's all relatively new. A film hasn't been shot on that particular negative size in this country, probably since Ryan's Daughter.
We've created this kind of impressionistic 19th century, which is not a specific year in a specific country, but it's an impression of a world in which there's tremendous power, tremendous opulence and elegance, close enough to us to seem exciting to watch, but also at a sufficient distance for us to accept that they speak in a heightened language.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine and thy best graces. Spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son,
A little more than kin and less than kind.
how is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much i' the sun.
Having come from the theatre and loving the live experience, it's a fantastic thing when you're in a room live doing this kind of work with a live audience. But there's something about trying to capture all the excitement that you could have in a live performance on film because it's there forever.
I first encountered Shakespeare when I was about 14, and it really made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. I then went to see a play when I was 15, and it changed my life. It had fights, it had sex, and it had a real vibrancy.
From the moment I saw it, I was captivated by something that I didn't understand fully, but which I was absolutely swept away by the power of.
It kept haunting me, and ever since, I suppose, I've been fascinated as I've become more familiar with the theatre and with Hamlet as a representative of Shakespeare's art, and I'd like to capture this play on film.
One of the things that drives this piece, aside from us, wanting to fulfill our own personal dreams with this project, one of those dreams, and I think the most important, is we want to get it out there and share it with an audience and say, we think this is great, and we think you will too.
Action! How like you this play?
The lady does protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offence in it?
No, nothing but jest. Poison in jest, no offence to the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Marry how? Tropically. This play is
This is a man who's funny, passionate, very passionate indeed, very ironic, very self-aware, and yet engaged in the struggle of trying to find out how do you achieve happiness as a human being, and the backbone of it is a wonderful thriller story. The ghost is an incredibly important character because he scares you, he's a very eerie and chilling presence, and he's deeply, deeply moving, and anyone who's ever lost a dad, anyone who's ever lost a parent will understand very, very keenly how that works in this film.
List, if thou didst ever thy dear father love, O God, revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
When you're doing something quite so hard and quite so challenging, it's important to have a laugh. And the role of Hamlet is full of the bleakest humour and some of the broadest. There's the gravedigger, there's Osric.
The king, sir, has wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against which he has imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns, as girdle, hanger, or so.
We have an international cast. We have Russians, we have Frenchmen, we have Africans, we have English, Scots, Irish, Welsh, you name it.
Action! For such a guest is meet.
This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
This world is not for I.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Look to the queen there! Oh!
We're shooting on 70mm because we want to celebrate the medium of cinema itself in a form that really does lead to a unique big screen experience, and we should do that with the acting.
Base mission, I defy thee!
In the text Hamlet is 30, I'm now 35. I think that's the right time to play it. You're halfway through this biblical 70. It's that point in life when suddenly people start to be aware that parents are lost and their own sense of perhaps the clock starting to run down a little bit. The basic material of this story is human nature.
Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go, farewell, or if thou wilt need to marry a fool. The wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery. Go, and quickly do farewell.
Heavenly powers, restore him.
I have heard of your paintings too well enough. God has given you one face, and you make yourself another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, and you nickname God's creatures, and you make your wantonness your ignorance.
I'll know more of it. It has made me mad. We will have no more marriages. Those that are married already. All but one shall live.
It's been the most amazing challenge for us to do in its entirety one of the greatest plays ever written. The thrill for us has been to try and come up, match, throw everything we can into the mix to try and match the genius of this man's writing. I hope that the audience will be swept away by this most glorious adventure.
Stay tuned for information about the interactive guide to Othello following the feature presentation.